Greetings, my glamorous lore goblins. Betty Rage here, your favorite nerdy goth mom. And this is Lashes and Lore. And today, while I sculpt cheekbones sharp enough to cut through red tape, we are setting our sights on the crown jewel of the Sword Coast, Waterdeep. Forget your dusty dungeons and monster-infested forests. We're going urban, baby. Think Game of Thrones with lots of cobblestone and significantly better baked goods. So, grab your fanciest feathered hat and your platinum credit card, because you're gonna need it. Oh, and if you are curious about the fancy pigments that I am slathering on my face today, the ingredients list is down below in the description. It's nestled amongst the usual disclaimers about how D&D may lead to an obsession and a crippling dice addiction. Because, babes, I multitask here on Lashes and Lore. Lore building with winged eyeliner. It keeps things interesting and it keeps my hands busy. So let's get into it, because this is the part where we get glam and we get nerdy. Waterdeep. The City of Splendors. Sounds fancy, right? Well, it is. But beneath a glittering facade of noble houses lies a tangled web of secrets, power struggles, and enough shady dealings to make a Zentarum agent blush. So, what is Waterdeep? Waterdeep isn't just a big town. It's a metropolis, a hub. It's the Times Square of the Forgotten Realms, but with more magic and fewer aggressively costumed characters. Though the nobles do kind of come close. It is perched majestically on the Sword Coast. It's a vital port, a center for trade, and a magnet for adventurers, schemers, and anyone looking to make a quick buck or disappear without a trace. So if you could just imagine a city that has been carved into the side of a mountain, overlooking a bustling harbor, with spires that kiss the clouds and underground levels that dig into ancient mysteries. It's a place where griffons are basically an Uber, and the local watch has wizards on staff. Forget your little sleepy villages. Waterdeep is where the action is, for better, or more likely for worse. I got ahead of myself. I forgot my primer, but that's okay. We will survive. So Waterdeep has a governing body called the Masked Lords, and nobody, except the Open Lord, knows who most of them even are. They wear magical masks to conceal who they are. So power plays, espionage, and deception are just baked in to the city's political structure. But here is the kicker. One of the most powerful and longest serving masked lords was, and sometimes still is, Kelvin Blackstaff Arunson. We're not even going to try that one again. Anyways, he is a wizard with deep ties to Mistra and the Weave, which we've done a whole video on the Weave, so I can link that at the end. But before we dive too far into the juicy little details of this very interesting layered place, let's talk about a little history. Because we're classy like that. Let me tell you, Waterdeep has more backstory than your favorite DC villain. Legend has it that the elves and the giants squabbled over this land way back in the day. The human warlord, Rarlor, claimed the area and things got human-y. But the real magic happened when Agaran, a powerful wizard who became the city's first open lord, and basically, he said to everyone, let's just make this place not suck. He established the Grey Hands, which is Waterdeep's elite magical force. And he established the Masked Lords, like we mentioned before, whose shadowy figures, they still pull the strings. Mysterious? Absolutely. Conspiratorial? Probably. Efficient? Debatable. Over the centuries, Waterdeep has weathered wars, plagues, and the occasional rampaging monster, but always managing to rebuild itself and maintain its status as the place to be, or at least the place that you really just can't afford to leave. And diverse? Oh, It is. Forget your sleepy, monocultural villages. Waterdeep is a glorious mess of elves, dwarves, halflings, gnomes, and more. They're all just trying to make their way in the big city. It's like a high fantasy United Nations, but with a much higher chance of someone trying to pickpocket your diplomatic pouch. Now, Waterdeep is separated into different wards. So if you're going to visit, there are several wards that you might actually survive. Maybe. But each ward has their own flavor of, will I get stabbed here? So, at first we have the Castle Ward. And the Castle Ward is like the fancy part. Like Beverly Hills, but with like more gargoyles. It's home to the castle. Duh. And then also government buildings and ridiculously wealthy noble people who probably have more money and magic than they do brain cells. Up next, you have the Trades Ward. It's a bustling marketplace where if you can't find it here, then you probably can't find it anywhere, or it's illegal. So prepare to haggle, watch your pockets, and maybe sample some questionable street food. Delectable nonetheless. Then you have the Dock Ward, where it's gritty, salty, and where the real stories and the real trouble happen. Sailors, smugglers, and shady characters galore. And maybe don't wander here alone at night unless you're looking for a Darwin Award. Then we have my favorite place in Waterdeep, well, one of, the City of the Dead. Surprisingly, very peaceful. It's a graveyard. It's mostly quiet, unless you anger the local ghosts or you stumble upon a necromancer having a good time. Great views, though. Side note, I really do love a beautiful graveyard. Got married in one. And the last one we'll mention is the North Ward. It's a mix of middle-class housing, shops, and taverns. The North Ward is relatively safe, but still keep your wits about you. This is Waterdeep, after all. And Waterdeep is crawling with influential figures. Some of them you know, some of them you don't. Thanks, masked lords. Makes it a little harder to know who you are. But one you would know is the Open Lord. The Open Lord currently is Laurel Silverhand, a powerful wizard and all-around badass. She is the public face of the city, trying to keep various factions from tearing apart. Good luck with that, Laurel. Then, of course, we have the masked lords that we mentioned before. They are the shadowy council who rule secretly. Their true identities are closely guarded, which leads to endless speculation and conspiracy theories. Are they dragons in disguise? Are they ancient liches? But honestly, your guess is as good as mine. There are also major guilds. From the Merchants Guild to the Powerful Mages Guild, these organizations wield significant economic and political power. But seriously, cross them at your own peril. And your wallets. Up next, the Zentarum. They are like the mafia of the Forgotten Realms, with their tentacles in everything. And I say tentacles figuratively, mostly. They deal in secrets and illicit goods. And, you know, just generally making life difficult for everyone else. And of course, we have to talk about the Xanathar Guild. Forget your typical human crime boss. We're talking about a great big old beholder. And I did say beholder, that floating multi-eyed monstrosity that we've discussed here before. He lords over a significant portion of Waterdeep's underworld. Imagine a series of clicking eye stalks, paranoid muttering. The occasional booming tyrannical announcement is obsessed with control and riddled with paranoia, like most beholders. And he has the kind of unhinged personality that you would expect from a giant eyeball with 10 magical eye stalks. Xanathar's grip on the city is strong, and crossing him is generally a very, very bad life choice. His inner monologue alone would probably fill an entire audiobook of crazy. But man, does he love that goldfish. And then, of course, we have Mordenkainen. Mordenkainen may not have a permanent penthouse overlooking the Sea Ward, But this legendary archmage is no stranger to Waterdeep. Mordenkainen is a powerful wizard and a proponent of balance in all of the multiverse of Dungeons & Dragons, and has been known to visit Waterdeep on the regular. In fact, he even recuperated in Castle Waterdeep for some time. So while you may not hear his pronouncements every single night in Waterdeep, his presence has definitely touched the magical landscape. So what are some things that you absolutely must do while you are visiting in Waterdeep? Waterdeep offers a plethora of activities, some more advisable than others, but there is one place that is an absolute institution, a must visit for anyone or any adventurer. You have to visit the Yawning Portal. Babes, this isn't just any old tavern. The Yawning Portal is legendary. It's built on a colossal gaping well that plunges 1,000 feet down into the first level of the Undermountain. And here is a deliciously creepy tidbit. This very well is believed to be the remnants of the once towering wizard spire of the mad mage himself, Hallister Blackoak. Legend says that after some unspecified magical cataclysm, or perhaps one of Hallister's particularly chaotic experiments, the tower just sank down into the mountainside, creating this dramatic and rather inconvenient, for the sake of structural integrity, entrance into his sprawling dungeon below. Talk about a foundation with history and potential cave-ins. Great ambiance, though. The tavern itself, the Yawning Portal Tavern, it is run by the indomitable Durnan. Durnan is a grisly, one-eyed adventurer of considerable skill and even more considerable mystery. He has seen it all in his long years presiding over the raucous establishment. From wide-eyed newbies that are eager to make a name for themselves, to seasoned veterans that are returning from the depths with tales of unimaginable horrors, and hopefully some decent loot too. Durnan is a man of few words, but he is a keen observer and a surprisingly reliable source for information, if you can get him to talk, that is. He also has a knack for knowing when trouble is brewing, and he isn't afraid to step in if things are getting a little too rowdy. And let's be honest, there is a giant hole in his tavern that leads straight to Undermountain, so things frequently get rowdy. What makes the Yawning Portal particularly unique is the spectacle of it. For a fee, brave or foolish adventurers can be lowered down into the well, just to test their mettle against whatever creatures rise from the depths. Again, it is quite the spectacle. Patrons gather around the top of the well. They place bets, they cheer, they jeer at these unfortunate souls battling monsters down in the pit. But hey, it was their choice to go down there in the first place. It's like a dinner show, Waterdeep style. Many famous adventurers have passed through its doors, adding to the rich history of the tales from beneath. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and maybe place a bet or two on who will return from the depths. Just don't fall in. What else is there to do in Waterdeep? Well, you could attend a ball in the castle ward, rub elbows with the nobles, imagine all the polite yet condescending chatter, try not to mentally spill all of your wine on their expensive clothes. Oops. And maybe you overhear some juicy gossip. Or, if that's not really your thing, you could always get involved in a faction war. Pick a side, Harper's, Zentarum, and just engage in some good old-fashioned urban intrigue. You can just imagine the clashing of metal swords and the whispered conspiracies. Just don't expect to come out completely unscathed. What about Waterdeep out in the wild? Waterdeep exists beautifully in the lore, but what makes the lore so exciting, you get to experience it at your gaming table. And Waterdeep has been the central location for some incredibly popular and well-received D&D adventure modules. First up, we have Waterdeep Dragon Heist. This fantastic little adventure was designed primarily by Christopher Perkins. Old Chris Perkins at WotC. And in my opinion, it is a brilliant entry to the City of Waterdeep. This adventure will take players from level 1 to 5 as they get entangled with a thrilling urban treasure hunt. So you should expect things like gang warfare, mysterious clues, and a chance to choose your main villain from Waterdeep's less savory residents, including our favorite beholder and crime lord, Xanathar. And honestly, it's more of a treasure hunt than a traditional heist. But trust me, the intrigue, the exploration of the city, they're top notch. Plus, it gives you a great base of operations right in the heart of Waterdeep. Then what happens after you've tangled with the gangs and explored the rooftops? Well, then you dive into the madness below in Waterdeep Dungeon of the Mad Mage. This particular adventure is also heavily designed by Chris Perkins, but this time also adding in Adam Lee and Jeremy Crawford. And it picks up where Dragon Heist leaves off. So it takes characters all the way to level 20. And what do you do in this adventure? Well, you explore 23. Yes, I said 23 levels of Undermountain, the sprawling dungeon beneath the city created by the infamous Mad Mage, Hollister Blackcloak. It's really a classic dungeon crawl with a Waterdeep twist, showcasing the deep and dangerous secrets that are lurking below the City of Splendors. So Waterdeep isn't just a fascinating piece of lore. It's a vibrant and actively used setting in countless campaigns. It offers everything from urban intrigue to dungeon delving. And if you're like me and you like to see other people playing in these campaigns, a fantastic taste of how Waterdeep Adventure actually plays out is the Waterdeep Dragon Heist one-shot that Critical Role did. Yes, the pleasant tones of Matthew Mercer DMing, who is at the table, none other than Chris Perkins himself as a player. It really is a brilliant showcase of the city's atmosphere, the social dynamics between its various factions, and the kind of intrigue that you really can expect from this adventure. And as a side note, if you've been enjoying Baldur's Gate 3, and you know one of our beloved companions, Gale, he is the Wizard of Waterdeep. Throughout his story, you do get little audio snippets of his time at Waterdeep, his recollections of the City of Splendor, mentioning places like the Sorceress Sundries, and of course the weight of his past in that magnificent city. It really is another testament to how important and significant Waterdeep is to the lore of Forgotten Realms, even when you're not actually walking the streets of Waterdeep in the game. And while there isn't a franchised movie of, the stories of Waterdeep where you can see on the big screen, I do think that the feel of a magically inclined city has permeated through fantasy worlds that you might have heard of, like the grand scale of the arcane hum of Dalaran in Warcraft, or even the bustling, multi-layered cityscape in Star Wars. While, of course, completely different genres, they offer a sense of massive, multifaceted urban center like Waterdeep. And of course, the political backstabbing could be likened to Game of Thrones. And if you are a DM and you're looking to take your players through Waterdeep or one of the adventures mentioned, remember to treat Waterdeep as a character all in itself. A city like this breathes. It has secrets. So give it personality. Let the environment influence the story. Use the different factions to create conflict and opportunity. And don't be afraid to let your players get lost in the urban sprawl, both literally and figuratively, honestly. And if you are a player who is diving into the deep end of Waterdeep, that was a pun, keep in mind that information is your most valuable currency. Talk to everyone. Listen to everything. And do not trust anyone implicitly. Befriend a local. Know your way around. And always have an escape plan or 3. And for the love of all that is holy, watch your wallet. Oh, jeez. That is a pink nose. Okay, nose is pink. So Waterdeep is the City of Splendors, the City of Secrets, the city where you can buy a magic wand but can't afford rent. It is chaotic. It is vibrant, and it is a endlessly fascinating place. And honestly, my ears are perked for the drama that resides within those city walls. So here we have our final look. Kind of fun. A little bit of purple. But what do you think about Waterdeep? I think it is layer upon layer of fascinating, vibrant story, drama. It brings it. And I am here for it. And that Yawning Portal story is crazy. There are a lot of things that are directly to do with the adventures that I did not want to divulge because I don't want to ruin adventures for people. So yes, I know there are things that I've left out. But overview, we gave an overview. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks so much for everybody being so wonderful. I painted my wall and did some different decor and got a new camera. So everyone that's complaining about my autofocus, that's no longer an issue. So thank you so much for everybody being so supportive and loving here on YouTube. I'm Betty Rage. This is Lashes and Lore. Take care of each other, love each other, and as always, free mom hugs from me to you. Bye. I'll see you next time.